Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I got a new set of markers, and I've been really wanting to get a new one for a while now, and these ones are really cool because they're actually pastels, and they're different from the other ones I've had. The colors are so cute and pretty, and I really wanted to make a video making a drawing with them, so that's what this will be. They were also really different because they were chisel and fine nibs, which I've never used before. I've only ever used the chisel and brush tips. So this is very different from the other markers I have. So it's going to be a new experience. So after a lot of deciding, I eventually decided that I was going to do heartstopper characters, Nick and Charlie, because I just started watching Heartstopper, and it is the most amazing show ever. It is so adorable, and it's so sweet, and I also love the story, and I was like, I need to make fan art right now. So I decided that I would draw Charlie and Nick for my first drawing with my pastel markers. This drawing was a little bit difficult for me because I am not used to drawing two people in the same picture, and I'm also not used to using chisel and fine tip markers, and they are so different feeling from the brush nibs because I love the brush markers so much, and like I used to think that I would like never ever use the fine nib ones, but this time I just wanted to try something new and see how it ended up turning out, so that's why I decided to get these instead. And oh my gosh, it was so difficult trying to get used to this other type of marker. And even with the way it turned out, they still didn't look like their characters, so I didn't feel good about the finished product, but I was like, whatever. I still like the drawing a lot, and I'm kind of proud of it with my first try with these pastel markers, but there is a little bit of smudging from when I colored in the skin, so that made me kind of sad. But besides that, there wasn't that much going on, and I was actually watching Heartstopper during this, so I had a photo of them, and I was also watching the show, so I had plenty of references, and I still could not get it completely right, which is sad, but whatever. So now you can see that the camera's actually at a different angle, and that's because I left and then came back and started working on it again. So yeah. Today I was at school, and one of my friends actually said that she didn't like Heartstopper, and I looked at her like she was a crazy person. Like, how could you not like this show? It's so beautiful. And like, she's like, I don't know, it's just kind of cringy, and I'm like, it is not cringy, it is beautiful. But I get that other people have other opinions, but I was just like so sad when I found out that she didn't like it, because like when I was playing a Heartstopper playlist, and she was like, oh, you watch Heartstopper? And I thought she was gonna be like, oh, I like it too, but then she was like, I don't really like it, it's cringy. I was like, how dare you. You probably can't tell, but it was actually Charlie's face that took me the longest to finish, because something about his face is so unique, and I really wanted to recreate it perfectly, but I just couldn't, and it ended up looking nothing like him in the end, and I was so sad because I put so much effort into making it look like his face, and it just didn't work, and I was sad. But whatever, they can't all be winners. So now the inking process has begun, and it was probably the easiest part. Inking used to be like the hardest, most difficult part for me, but now it's like 100% the easiest because I already have something to look at and go off of, and it's just really easy to understand what to draw. And I've also gotten pretty good at knowing where to make the lines thick and where not to, but I know I still have a lot of progress to get through, but I'm getting better than I used to. Like, I used to be so bad at line art and it looked like trash, so I think I have improved with this. Nick's hair is also like definitely longer than that, so I'm sorry I've been pointing out so many things that are just bad about this drawing during this, but I can't help it. Just some parts are so wonky and I don't like it. Also, I'm sorry you have to look at my very chipped nail polish. It just looks sad, and I don't like it, so I'm sorry you had to look at it the whole time I was making this drawing. I sped up this part of the inking process a lot because it took me really long for this part of the inking process. I don't know why it did, but it took me so long, so I had to speed it up a lot more than everything else. I actually couldn't find a normal eraser, so I had to use this big phone eraser, which I don't think it was actually made to be used, but I had nothing else to use as an eraser, so I just used that. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, that I was waiting for so long, is using the markers. So I decided to start with coloring in both their hair. And Charlie's hair is like a black, but I only had light grays in the set, so I didn't really know what to do, so I started off with just using like light gray to see how it looked, and it did not look right, to say the least. I tried to use the darkest shade of gray and it didn't make much of a difference, so I kind of cheated. I got another set of markers and I used a darker shade of gray. I didn't use like actual black because I didn't want to cheat that much, but I did cheat a little bit with this. I also made some lines with the inking pen so that it looked a little bit darker in the darkest areas, and it pretty much looked fine. Then it was time to color in the skin, and what I really liked about this marker set is that it has like a lot of good light skin colors, and I don't have that many light skin colors because the original skin color set I had only had like 3 or 4 light skin colors, and they ran out really quick because they're light color, so it was a huge perk that it had all of these light skin colors. I also sped up this part a lot because it was way too long. Like, for some reason the rest of the skin coloring took me a really long time. With the original shirt, he actually had red with a bunch of other details, but I did not have red. I only had pink, so I made his shirt pink instead. Also, his eyebrows are a lot bushier than that, and I love his eyebrows, and I completely ruined them because I made them so not eyebrowy and weird, and I'm sad. So I'm sorry I ruined his eyebrows. Apologies. For Nick, I actually think I did find a good hair color for him. It pretty much matched his hair color. It was a little bit more yellowy, but I think it got pretty much what I was aiming for, so that's one thing that I like. I think that ended up good. For his skin color, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I might have used the same color of skin for him as I did Charlie, which doesn't look that great because they have the same exact skin color. I tried to use a different one, but I think I actually ended up using the same color, but it still looks fine. You can barely tell that you barely notice that there is a difference, but it kind of bothered me. Oh, and one more thing. I did not give him freckles. Oh my gosh, I just noticed this and it makes me so angry because I love his freckles so much. They're so adorable and beautiful, and I did not add his freckles, and it makes me so angry because I love his freckles, and I love freckles, and I didn't add his freckles, and it's my favorite thing to add in a picture, and I didn't, and I'm so sad, but I'm sorry. I'm carrying this out too much, but I'm literally so sad I didn't add his freckles. Also, his shirt's supposed to be orange, and I used the skin color for his shirt, and I realized that while I was coloring it, and I was like, uh-oh, that looks really, really bad. It just looks ugly, and I was like, why didn't they add like a pastel orange to the set? That would have looked so cool, and they didn't have a pastel orange, so I had to shade it with like pink, and the pink looked wonky. So if there's one thing that makes me kind of sad is that there's no really pastel-y orange. I mean, I guess that could count as a pastel orange, but it just doesn't look right. But I'm just gonna have to live with it because it looks fine, but it does not look orangey enough. I had to look up the correct spelling of heartstopper because I am very bad at spelling, and I wasn't sure how to spell the word heart, which is just why. What is in my brain that is causing that? Like, that was my initial idea of how to spell it, but for some reason I completely doubted that was the right spelling. So here is the finished product. I think it's pretty cute, and I actually ended up hanging it up on my wall with the rest of my drawings. So yeah, I like it.